Hi, I'm a 958th degree Grandmaster. I have mastered 17 deadly fighting styles of super deadliness. I'm really not kidding around one bit. I am the most deadly fighter in the entire world. Just imagine, all the kung fu movies you have ever seen, and I am like 100 times way more seriously deadly than all of those. But enough about my awesomeness. Let me tell you about my master. My master is beyond any words to describe. Now, it's true that he doesn't fight in any videos against real opponents, but he really beats up on the students amazingly. I mean, he really beats the snot out of his students, almost as if they owed him money and he were like super pissed off about it. My master can throw his students at least 5 feet onto the ground, easily, every time. And while it's true that my master is a little bit overweight, he says that his fatness is due to years of experimenting with different Qigong forms. And I'll admit that my master has a fighting record of 0, 0 and 0. But who's really counting, am I right? But this video is about me and my amazing achievements. So my first achievement, the one that I am the proudest of, is getting my customers to call me master. What a bunch of morons. They actually pay me money, and I mean, a lot of friggin' money, so that I can be their master, and think for them, and command them to clean my toilet. These are dedicated customers, I mean, students, who are willing to give absolute trust to me, on the first day they meet me, by bowing to me and my property and my dog and my pet rabbit, and anything else I want them to bow to. I even have my customers, I meant students, bow to my altar, which has images of my divine Grandmaster, and various other idols I can find, such as garden gnomes, for my followers to praise and say prayers to. My second greatest achievement is duping my followers into thinking that I can fight. Even though I don't really have video, per se, of me fighting, or even sparring, or even playing ping pong or badminton. I'm just really good at mentally conditioning the customers into being intimidated by me and my awesomeness. And they just eat it right up. Like some of them pay me over $200 a month. That's right, $2,400 a year, so that I can pretend to teach them fighting. Even though I have never really actually been in a fight. Well, there was that one time that I was like totally angry at the kid working the drive-thru, and I was like, if I don't get my supersized milkshake, how else will I grow my pot belly to make chi? And he was like, sir, we don't sell supersized milkshakes anymore, and so I yelled, if I don't get my supersized milkshake right now, I'm going to kung fu kick your pimpled face right through my car window. Needless to say, I was just about to show him my martial arts certificates to prove that I could beat him up, man to man, but the punk ran like a baby, and closed the drive-thru window on me. My third greatest achievement is making these suckers think that a cloth belt with a certain color means anything other than another reason to give me more of their money. It's just a reward system, where they don't actually get rewarded, but instead, reward me with more of their money, while they are dazzled with a simple color change. What morons. I don't mean to be rude, it's just that I'm a 958th degree quadruple black belt, and I just don't have time for people and their money concerns. Look, just give me your money, how simple could it be? I'll teach you some really righteous dance moves, I meant, fighting moves, and you'll be on your way to winning cage fighting matches with any opponent. Which brings me to my fourth greatest achievement of all time. Which is deceiving parents, that I teach their children discipline. Yeah, if by discipline they mean their child is being taught to be passive to me, and trusting of me, then sure, they will be that. They will even see their child becoming more behaved at home and school. because I'm teaching their kids passive behaviors. So this is my greatest trick of all. Don't call me the devil for it. I just trick parents into thinking their kids are becoming disciplined, when in reality, they're learning to be passive. To my every whim. My fifth greatest achievement was telling parents that I could make their kids learn respect. Yeah, I teach respect. I teach your child to respect my cult, my property, my warped ideas, my commands, and my every word. But if you mean respecting you, then no. I am your child's new master, so you can call me their second father. But let's just see who your child respects more. After years of my indoctrinating them with various mental trickery, you'll find out fast that your child respects me, and follows me, much more than you. I call my sixth trick, the destiny stealer, or the stealing of futures. Because my job is to indoctrinate children so fully into my cult, that they will look to me, to make their future decisions for them. I bet you thought your kid was going to college. Nope. By this time they are well indoctrinated into voluntarily serving me, by working for free or very little. And I just can't allow your child to go to college, because I need them to work for me, full time. They need to teach the classes, since those are so boring, and they will have to advertise for me, since I'm too lazy. Did I say lazy? I meant that advertising and handing out flyers is so beneath me. I am so high on the martial arts ladder, that I can't possibly be expected to do my own advertising. So that will be your child's new job. Your child will learn confidence, while they are handing out flyers, at strip malls, to promote my cult, using car salesman tricks, that I learned from various charlatans, which I make your child learn. And this brings me to my seventh greatest achievement, which is, to turn my cult members into walking advertisements. After all, what good is a cult, if you don't exploit the members? So, your child will be expected to perform martial arts demonstrations, in parades, malls, birthday parties, bar mitzvahs, circus shows, or anywhere else that makes me money. The real trick was making your child thank me for letting them work for me. That was difficult, but with years of mental tricks, I had enough time to brainwash your child into working for me, with no pay. We don't like to use the word slavery, we just give them a special title, such as advanced dragons, or dragon trainers, or some other gimmick. It really doesn't matter, as long as they don't want to be paid. And just to make sure they never catch on, I even charge them more to teach for me, and also to have the privilege of being my toilet cleaner. The only thing I can't get them to do is to be real fighters, since I don't know how to fight. And, of course, the very first thing I teach them is to submit to me completely. Which is number 8 on my greatest achievements list. Put very simply, they are deceived from the very beginning to think that submission to me will teach them to be dominant in fighting. To say this another way, a person cannot learn to be a dominant fighter if their very first step is submission. Do you get it? Do you see how brilliant my scam is? These people came to me to learn how to fight, and so I already knew that they were easy prey. And most of the time, they have been bullied in life already. And this leads me to my 9th greatest achievement, which is to target people who have already been victimized, and pretend like I am their savior. In other words, I target bullied kids, and advertise to parents that I will bully-proof their children, only to become their child's new bully, who takes much more than lunch money. And God forbid, if parents ever ask what will happen, after most of the children learn martial arts, bullies or not. No surprise, you guessed it, there are still bullies, only now, they know how to go for your child's throat, tiger style. Now, by this point, you might think that I'm Satan. But wait, it gets worse. Much worse. Because, all 9 of my tricks, leads me to my 10th and final trick, which is, getting my customers, to worship me. By utilizing all of my tricks together, on a daily basis. To fully condition my cult members, into serving me, for their entire lives. Or until the day that they realize, that I'm a complete fake. Who uses sales tricks, to manipulate them. I joined martial arts long ago, seeking power. I served my masters, and then finally, I became a grand master, and reached my goal of absolute power, over my cult. And there is no one above me. I am God of my school. I am the alpha male of my clan. I can do whatever I want and I don't have to report to anyone. Whatever I say goes, and my students have a fear of me, from the many stories I feed them. Is it any wonder then, that with absolute power, that I become corrupted? Absolutely. Is anyone surprised, that with absolute power, and no governmental regulation, that 200+ martial arts teachers, were guilty of abusing children, or teenagers, in the United States of America? Half of the guilty, were the owners of their martial arts schools, so I ask you, before I abuse the absolute power, and absolute trust that parents have foolishly given to me, will you at least be smart enough to not leave your kids with me, unsupervised? Will you realize, that background checks won't solve 98% of these abuse cases, because, it is martial arts, that corrupts these power-hungry fools, by offering them a sanctuary of absolute power. Let me spell this out, in case anyone was sleeping. As soon as your child walks into my school, I begin scamming them. Step 1, is to make them walk in again. This time, they are commanded to bow, at the door. And then, even though they know nothing about me, and have only just met me, they are commanded to call me master. Even though I am a stranger, and your child doesn't know me, they are already bowing to me, bowing to my property, and calling me their master. So, now that your child has learned to give absolute trust, to strangers, without question, I then proceed to the next part of my scam. I'm going to dress your child with new clothes, because as a new cult member, they have to look the same as the other cult members. And I'm also going to give your child new shoes, because the shoes that you bought are simply no good. I then proceed to tell your child that they need to learn to breathe differently. I try to attach myself to every single breath, which is an old hypnosis trick. And of course, your child's posture is all wrong, so I'll have to correct that as well. So now, I'm dressing your kids, and choosing their shoes, and they are calling me master and bowing to me, while breathing the way I want them to breathe, and standing in the posture I want them to stand. The only thing left, is to teach your child to follow my every move, by teaching them a dance, which has nothing to do with fighting, but everything to do with teaching the student how to follow me. So you see, I didn't start out evil, it's just that parents handed me their children, on a silver platter, and I became corrupt as time went on. The parents seemed to think it was okay for me to play their child's new idol. And soon, I started holding ninja sleepovers at the school, and taking your kids out of the state or country, for martial arts tourism, and usually with no supervision. Meanwhile, the parents think it's normal, because I'm very good at portraying a character that they can trust. You know, since I'm helping their child with that bully problem, and discipline and respect, and any other sales pitch words I can come up with, or that my charlatan newsletter I subscribe to instructs me to say to parents, for that month. I've attended so many mind manipulation seminars, that I can't even remember how much money I have spent, on whatever I could find, to manipulate your children. Again, I am not the devil. I am only a demon, which you have enthroned in your children's lives. You have allowed me to become your child's master, and I don't think you realized exactly what that entails. And let's not forget that I am an adult male. I am no different than any other adult male. You simply cannot trust me any more than you would trust the garbage man, or any other man, from any kind of business that is unsupervised and unregulated. In fact, you have every reason to be suspicious of me, because in the last 6 years, over 100 martial arts teachers were guilty of sex abuse on our children or teenagers. Which I cannot say about garbage men. So, you have been warned. But of course, you will do what you will, and I'm sure you have kung fu and karate movies playing in your head, so it won't surprise me one bit if you still choose me to be your child's idol. And why not? I mean, damn, I idolize myself. I mean for real, I have tons of cash. I'm like richer than the frickin' money team. And I'm so good at scamming. I scam my older students nicely, by telling them stories about how I always buy dinner for my master, implying that they should also buy me dinner. And these dummies fall for it, every time. Well, it's only natural for your child to idolize my greatness. It would be crazy if they didn't. Just look at all the Hollywood movies that are pretty much my free advertising. And thank goodness that the national news media is owned by the parent companies of those same martial arts movie releases. Otherwise, we would have seen 2 martial arts teachers a month guilty of abusing our kids reported on the national news. But instead, the national news carries only stories that glorify martial arts, and they choose not to cover the martial arts sex scandal that is affecting thousands of kids. Meanwhile, their parent companies release more martial arts propaganda, leading a generation of children into the arms of child predators, who are known as martial arts teachers. So it doesn't surprise me even a little, when parents say they are shocked that their son or daughter's martial arts teacher has been found guilty of abusing another child. We can blame the national news media, the parents, and the government. But most of all, we can blame stupidity for believing that absolute power wouldn't corrupt man, absolutely. The question to ask is, will you wait until it's too late, and your child is being manipulated by a predatory martial arts teacher, who has learned new mind manipulation techniques to ensure total control over your child's mind?